Susan Page is USA Today's Washington bureau chief. She's with us now from Washington. Susan, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
What are we to make of this, all the recount talk right now?
Well, one thing we should remember is that there is not any evidence so far, no credible evidence of a systemic problem with the count in these key states. But there is enormous frustration among Democrats in particular about the close margin and the fact that it was these states that unexpectedly gave the presidential election to Donald Trump. And I think that's what's reflected by these very good fundraising numbers for Jill Stein. She's now raised more money in a couple days for a recount than she raised during her entire presidential campaign.
Frustration is one thing, Susan, but do you think this will actually lead to the Clinton campaign contesting, I should say, the election?
There is no evidence that the Clinton campaign is supporting this effort. And these deadlines are looming today and Monday in two of these three key states. You know, there is a tradition in this country in modern times of presidential candidates, even when there's a very close vote, not contesting the results. We saw that with Gerald Ford in 1976, with Richard Nixon in 1960. And we see no signs so far that the Clinton campaign wants this recount to go forward.
Susan, I want to ask you about Kellyanne Conway, Donald Trump's campaign manager, tweeting about Mitt Romney, essentially lobbying against him. Have we ever seen something like this where cabinet level positions are being discussed on social media and the president-elect might actually react to that?
You know, it's so interesting. Maybe we shouldn't be surprised that with our first Twitter president that his top aides are lobbying him in this way. But it is pretty remarkable for Kellyanne Conway, one of his closest aides through this campaign, to be publicly raising questions about one of the leading candidates for Secretary of State, Mitt Romney. We've just never seen anything like this before.
Susan, we saw Nikki Haley appointed UN ambassador to South Carolina governor. What else might we expect in the coming week here after the holiday?
Well, we certainly have some of the biggest jobs in the administration still open. Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Treasury. These are all the key positions, the top positions in the cabinet. And while we've seen some people come in to talk to the president-elect about these jobs, we really don't have a sense of who he's going to settle on. And more than in some previous administrations, it is really totally up to the president-elect and his decision. And in some cases, that's been a bit surprising. Nikki Haley, for instance, she had been pretty critical of Donald Trump during the primaries, during the Republican primary. So the fact that she emerged as UN ambassador, I think, is interesting. It's a sign that he will embrace those who are quite critical of him, although maybe not if they didn't actually vote for him. Nikki Haley has said that she did vote for him.
And Susan, I mean, it is pretty fascinating to follow the Twitter presidency here. I mean, between Kellyanne Conway, you know, sharing this article, this political article, and then the president-elect himself sending this carrier tweet yesterday on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and maybe this is going to be the new way this administration will function. It is one way to bypass the traditional media and to go directly to Americans and make your case. But the Kellyanne Conway tweet was pretty interesting because it was so, in 140 characters, she managed to say, hey, we want somebody who'll be loyal as Secretary of State. That was a shot at Mitt Romney. And also said that you don't have to travel so much to be Secretary of State. You can be the advisor that stays close to home. That was making a case for Rudy Giuliani. There's been some suggestion that he would not travel as much as some of the recent secretaries of state.
All right, Susan Page, we thank you as always.
Hey, thank you.